All right. What is it? Tuesday? About 6:45 in the morning for me, July 2. And data is working. So, got data working. I'm curious. I never went back to look. Yesterday. Looks like the data filled in where it stopped working for me yesterday. I think it was around here. Interesting. So I still don't know what the deal was about yesterday in my data, but everything seems fine now. Let's see where we are here. So we went through the previous day close. We're at session highs on the daily. Basically looks like a second entry long being triggered in the middle of potential range. So the market was way down in the overnight. $189 points from the bottom to the top. Most of that at the open when Powell was speaking. Okay. And in 11 minutes, there's a JOLTS jobs report. All right, so I'd be interested to see if this level holds. No gap on the chart now from earlier when it hit it. So So we're right at previous day's high right here, in between the previous day high and previous day close. The session open. So there's news in 5 minutes, so I'm gonna just chill, wait to see how that goes, and then go from there. So I know that this is one of the news events. You can't really trade on a PA account. Setting up a second entry long on an engulfing bar right now. So the ones that can be trouble. So I marked this off just to see if we don't actually get there. I think that's a bullish thing. But we'll see what happens with this jobs report in 3 minutes. So far, pretty strong base setting up right at the previous day close. To me, it's like if this holds one more time, but it's going to line up exactly with the news. A higher low here. Right, 30 seconds till the news. Interesting. It's holding. My daughter's waking up early. All right. This is definitely going to be a short day for me, by the way. I've only got maybe an hour and a half to trade, and then I'll be done. So far, it's trying to hold this level. To me, it's really important whether it stays above this or not. The news was really contained on this one. Just gonna wait and see how this plays out. It's just very sideways for the moment. So far to me, it looks like one leg down, a second leg down with 2 attempts to get to the measured move. Hasn't been able to get there yet. I lost on a trade yesterday where we saw something kind of similar where I kind of forced a short where it already made a couple attempts to try to get to my measured move and it couldn't get there. I went short and then market moved against me. So I'm trying to be more aware of these situations where I have a measured move and it tries to get there a couple times, but can't quite do it. But no setup for me as of yet. Bollinger's pretty tight. And so at this point, so we're moving against the measured move, so yesterday it was disappointing to get that loss, but it was really, it's just a bad trade. And I recognized it pretty quickly after I entered it. I don't know why, but that particular kind of pattern, if you want to call it that, it gets me so often. Like a lot of my losses look exactly like that one looked. I was kind of hoping because of all the issues that were being reported on Apex that it might get reset, but they didn't reset anybody's, and people were having like legitimate problems. I mean, we saw later in the day where, whatever time it was, where I had like no data at all. It wouldn't even fill in whether I'd, refresh the cache and all that stuff. So, I wasn't too upset that they didn't reset. It was just my loss was my own fault. So it's fine. And, I look at the accounts today. I mean, 2 of the accounts are still above starting balance, barely this one, but it's just an evaluation, doesn't matter. This one still got, about 16 or 1700 in drawdown. This one I've still got about the same, maybe 1900. And but this one I'm below starting balance, and then the 3 that I haven't touched yet. So I'll accept my losses and come back, try to trade better. As long as I'm learning from my mistakes, that's the biggest thing. And I just do it live on stream. And a lot of people try to hide their losses. I'll show them, or they'll like delete the stream afterwards. They don't want people to see that they had a red day. And It's just, it's part of my journey. So there's going to be red days. Right. So for anyone trading, I don't know how anyone trades in this kind of mess, but this is the kind of stuff I want to avoid for now. All right, so we've got all the known news out of the way at this point. All right, so the previous day close level held 3 times. Is this where it gives it up, or is this a final test? I'm always thinking about the potential for failed breakouts too, so this is looking pretty legit. Let's see what happens here. I was testing these situations to, when you have something close outside of the Bollinger, to trade the other direction. But I was pretty hit or miss on it. And it did rack up a lot of losses in the playback on testing it. And I don't think that on PA accounts with trailing drawdown, it's really a great strategy because you could get caught. And it doesn't take much to get caught a couple times before you really wrecked your account. So I think it's better when it lines up with one of my setups. This is not really much of a range up here. It actually looks like it was more like this. Break out at the top, now break out at the bottom. Right, so it's going to be an interesting level to see from coming from below it. Does this now become resistance? Acting a bit like resistance right now. Right at the previous day close. At this point, this kind of looks like two legs. So there's a new high, there's the first entry long. We reached the measured move down. Midline of the Bollinger is being resistance too. Very sideways the last few days on the daily chart. If this triggers a second entry long, which it just did, not a setup that I could take. Be interesting if there is a failure, but there's not a lot of room. See what happens at this mid-level again of the Bollinger. Just acting as a failed breakout. This is now a second entry short potential. Interesting. If it triggers a second entry short, might be a good setup for a long. After the failed breakout and back into the range. Doesn't look like it's going to try to trigger it, really. Just going to go. I can take this off now at this point. ATR is still very high, 74 ticks. So the short worked plenty, but I just wasn't sure what's going on here. And there's a failure. It's just a lot of back and forth. A lot of these overlapping bars today. So second entry long. Just like a clean setup, please. See if this breaks out of this. All right, so the next thing I'll be interested to see is just what happens when we retest the high of the day. make me think it's possible we're doing this, but I'm a little shy here. Midline is kind of okay looking. This market's pretty choppy back and forth, confusing. Let's see what happens here if we can get a retest of the high of the day. Maybe that'll help give some indication. Or can it not get there? a triple test, but I'm not going short here, I'll tell you that much. And it's technically the first entry, second entry to the short side. But I'm just going to wait and see. I mean, I'm expecting a retest of the high. The market's just difficult lately. For me, anyway. I mean, even last week I was 5-0 during the regular hours, New York hours. But it was still, felt like a hard week. And I started off this week with a loss. Just don't like all this sideways. I think it's coming up here, but I also don't want to bet against the resistance. I don't know. Wasn't an especially strong reaction of a failed second entry short. You expect it to just go, but it didn't. Here it goes. And based on my Bollinger observance, blast right through the midline, this should work for the long to get back up here. There it goes. So I wasn't willing to bet on it, but there you go. It seems like it's like a 90% plus setup when price just goes right through the Bollinger, right through the midline, and then sets up like some sort of second entry situation to go in the direction of the breakthrough of the midline. It seems like it works like most of the time. But it's kind of ugly. First entry, second entry short failure, just shy of the midline. But with what I'm talking about, it doesn't even have to touch the midline. It just has to be above it. And see it work time and time again. But a lot of times it's in situations like this where it's like there's not a lot of room to a previous resistance. So I've been picking and choosing when I take them. It seems like it mostly just doesn't matter. It just usually is going to work unless there's some obvious reason to not take it. But to me, also all the sideways was kind of a reason to not take it. So I don't know. And for me, I'd probably be, because I'd be worried about the resistance, I'd probably move my break even +1 up pretty quickly. And so this might have moved up. I might have put it in just to be safe and come out of the trade just break even +1 before it ends up going. So, because I mean, this pulled back all the way back here. And these aren't small bars. It's a 52 tick bar right here. This one's 42 ticks. What's this one? Oh, this is pretty small, 34. ATR is coming down a bit now. Finally, it's at 62 ticks. Just move it up a little bit. So it does feel like a range. I mean, especially got the new high and came right back down. Bollinger is all the way up here though. Sometimes I've seen this where it kind of looks like it's setting up to be a range, but then the Bollinger is all the way up here and it just starts to break through and gradually grind up and just become like a new trend. This is a pretty wide range too. We got 71 points in there. I gotta say, after my loss yesterday, I definitely feel even more hesitant today than I usually do. I think just because I knew it was a bad trade and I took it anyway. Sometimes you just like, you're thinking to yourself like, it's not really, I don't really love it. But then you just feel like, oh, but I gotta take it. Like, it's the only opportunity I've seen. Market's definitely confusing to me though. I mean, the only thing I'd say is we've got the new high in place. So it's entirely possible that the upside could be finished. The only thing I'd say, if you draw, yeah, I mean, even if you draw like some kind of trend line, it looks like you got to break a new high of that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's so many times where it looks like this. It looks like it's forming like a big range like this, and then it just never gets past the midline, and it just works its way back up and ends up just keep going up. especially lately when I've seen, now that I've been watching the Bollinger. So it's still pretty new for me. When the Bollinger moves all the way up like this and it gets real tight right at the top of the range, like that's a lot of times where it'll keep going up. I think I saw something like that recently. Maybe it was even yesterday. I forget. So kind of awkward. New high, first entry, potential second entry setting up right at the top of the perceived current range. Right into the midline of the Bollinger. Never sure what to think about this when I see it. It doesn't seem like a place where you want to go long necessarily. There's room to all the way up here. Coming off the bottom Bollinger. Already worked for what my profit target would be. All right, so that worked more than well enough. So is this going to be one of those times I was talking about where it just can keep going? Obviously, the resistance is trying to stay intact, but here it goes. So I got to learn from these. It's exactly, it seems like it's going to do exactly what I was talking about this whole time. But I'm just not confident when I see that yet. At this point, I'm going to remove this. I feel like if I didn't have that big range on, maybe I can consider this more. It's also just a huge bar. 79 ticks. It's like, that's like my trade yesterday. It was really big like that. It's a big loss when you take it. I mean, honestly, at this point, you have 2 legs down. So I've got to think to myself that I'm probably looking for 2 legs up. You got a higher low there. So I think I'm looking for that. Higher low right into the highs. This thing feels like it's just going to push up. Got a lot of room to the upside. It's like a first entry, second entry long on the daily chart. Got a measured move that has still been out there. That was never reached entirely. We're coming off the Bollinger. The situation where you've really pushed strongly through the Bollinger down here. And the first time you came back, you tested it and went up. And now you're back testing it again. Everything seems bullish. feel in general I've had a pretty good read on the market, but today, but just not liking anything. And maybe I'm being a little bit tighter because of my loss yesterday. I'm sure I am. Like this long at the time, I liked that it was the same level right here, but I didn't like the way the bar closed. I wanted it to be more bullish looking. But what I liked about it was it did pierce the bottom Bollinger. Plenty of room back to these lines here. I mean, I was really considering going long here, except for the fact that I didn't like the bar. Otherwise, there's really just been nothing. I mean, I didn't even start until, right, what, 6:45? And then there was all this news going on. Right now there's a new low. There's potential for a first entry, second entry short. I just don't trust any shorts right now. All right, well, the way this is looking, might be a no trade day for me. I only have maybe a half hour left to trade. Something like that. And then I'm not sure I'm going to be trading tomorrow at all because it's going to be a short day. Not sure how the volume's going to be, even though it's, I mean, technically it's a trading day, but it closes early. I think at 10, if I remember, 10 Eastern. Is that right? No, it can't be 10 Eastern. I forget. I'll have to look again. I think the market closes early tomorrow, and then Thursday as well on 4th of July closes early also for futures. So I probably won't trade until Friday, and then I might not even trade Friday because who's coming back after like 2 short days to come back and trade Friday? So I don't know. I might just take the rest of the week off and just try to kind of reset myself. Here's another situation where it really pushed strongly through the Bollinger, and then we have the first entry short, second entry short failure. I'm curious to see if this will work again, because at a certain point I'm going to feel like I just need to take all of them when this happens. So it's just shy of my profit target right now. I probably honestly would have moved up my break even to break even plus 1 already, and so I'd be out of the trade break even plus 1. So so still waiting to see if this failure would have worked. It really does seem like I just have to take all of them and accept the times that they don't work, but it seems like they always work. I know they don't always work, but it seems like they work a lot. Coming up just shy so far. It basically needs to get to the high of day for it to work for my profit target. Right, so this one came up short. Still, I mean, there was 5 points in there. So when there's just not a lot of room, maybe just go for a smaller profit target. I'd still be in it because my stop would be under this bar. Let's see. 775. All right, so I'd still be alive on the trade if I hadn't taken my profit target already. I mean, if I hadn't put a break even +1 or whatever. And there it goes. Yeah, so ultimately it'd work if you don't put a break even +1, but again, it still worked. It also ended up setting up a first entry, second entry long with no room, but these situations, and it just blasts through the midline without any kind of hesitation. When it sets up either a second entry long or a failed second entry short, they usually work either shy of the Bollinger or at the midline Bollinger, in my experience, observing. Just really turning into the kind of day where I never do well or get really trades. It seems like everything is just very risky. maybe it would be a good timing for a break. So just like really not feeling it lately. Even last week, like I was 5-0 during Monday through Friday. And it was just like a grind to find that like basically one trade a day. And every trade I took, I was like, okay, I think I feel good about this, but you know, every day felt hard to like find that one that I felt confident in. So hopefully I'll be able to find some time to do some more playback again, do some more testing. I want to test more trades like this, where it's like I have an entry, have a touch on the Bollinger, things are kind of looking a little bit sideways at that point, but there's room. And just test kind of the setups that I'm less confident in right now when I see them, and see what the win rate is. And also these ones, the ones where I'm talking about where it rushes through the midpoint of the Bollinger, and you know, first entry short, second entry short, not touching the midline, but tends to work. And then it worked again up here. So it was two of this very same setup, both worked. This one you had to suffer a pullback that looked like it was going to take you out before it ended up working. 37 tick risk. I mean, my risk on my loss yesterday was like 70 ticks. So that's why I had a big loss yesterday. Well, just feels like all shorts are off the table for me. So everything is just yelling bullish to me, but then the longs just have all seemed precarious. There was a second entry long here also that I just didn't trust at the time. There's this one, there's this one, there's a failed second entry short there and here. Just none of these I've been confident about, but they all would have been good trades. I mean, that's 4 trades. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. or the second entry long 5. But you have that resistance right there. All right, does this hold? It's hard to tell, but this was our first entry long, and this actually ticked up above the, oh no, that's not new low, but it's an inside bar. I mean, to me, it's the first entry long, second entry long that failed. But if you don't consider this a second entry long, then you can say this is potentially a second entry long right now. Kind of a trap, big bar. Right to the midline. I just don't know if I count that as a second entry long. It's a triple test. Give it a shot. All right, just took that. Didn't like how it was getting a little bit resisted there. So I just decided to take what I can get. Try to build some confidence. Mm-hmm, 3 points, 12 ticks. So just because of lack of confidence, I took it where I can get it. I didn't like that it was hesitating at the midline. We'll see what happens, but I'll take the win. Take what I can get. So far, it looks like I did the right thing. All right, so this could potentially be a higher low. Now we've got resistance at the midline. I'm happy I took what I can get here and not suffer this pullback. And I'll probably just chill and leave a higher low alone, even though it kind of seems like a good trade. It's another 5 points right there. But yeah, I don't like this close. If it triggers. Now if it comes back down and goes back up, it's still a higher low. Maybe I can consider that, even though it's a doji. These equal lows. 650. They are equal lows. It's tempting to want to go long here if it goes above. It already went above. I'm just waiting. All right, so the higher low would have been stopped out if you got in right away. By one tick. Let's see what happens here. The low here is the 3. The ATR is finally coming down. It's about 47 ticks now. So definitely feel like I did the right thing on this trade, taking my 3 points. See, could have got, if I moved up quicker, it actually could have got as many as 6 points at the top. So like 5 3/4. I think I did pretty well there. So it looks like it's going to come down. Yeah, anyone that didn't take profit here, entering a trade like me, just took a loss. So I guess I did as well as I could do right there in that situation. So I'll take it. Just that little bit of resistance, hesitation right there. As I was looking at this level, I was just looking at this. It just seemed like it touched it and it was backing up. I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to play plenty games. And that saved me from a loss today. So I feel fortunate to have gone out with a win there. So this is 5. It's going to be 11. It's going to be 6. Starting more and more to look like this second leg is not quite going to happen. I mean, it really tried once, tried twice, tried a third time. So, I don't know. Oh wow, what was that? Whoa. What is happening here? That was definitely very unexpected. Wow, that was a crazy candle. 140 ticks. Right back to resistance. What, I mean, it's not even at like any kind of key level. Weird. Was it? What's the measured move of this? All right, so it's right around that measured move. But still, I mean, it didn't even like tick under this bar at all or anything. It just went. Well, the measured move of this little range to the upside is right where my bigger measured move is. I think I'm gonna turn off P11 and switch to another account. Just make sure that I at least lock that in. Let me switch accounts here real quick. So I'll switch to 12 being the leader. So I'll lead with 12. And then I'll copy the 13 if I see another trade. So the next trade will be the valuation 43 and 12 and 13. And that way I just, at the very least, lock in my small profit on 11 for the day. It's kind of like a new low first entry short, went up, second entry short. I just don't like when those look, but also new high first entry long, and then potential second entry long, which is kind of also a failure, but it's also going right into the resistance. So it's about 4.5 points there, but It looks like a bull flag, but I don't know that I trust that setup like that. Just triggered. So that would have worked. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the same sort of thing that I'm talking about back here, straight through the midline of the Bollinger, and having that kind of a setup even shy of the midline of the Bollinger, just tend to work, at least for some profit. I don't know about my full 6.5 points, but probably can get 5 points in general off those. And there it goes. So that's the third time today that I've seen that. Third time today that exact setup worked. Three out of three. I always have a real hesitation because just in my total experience of trading, when you trade into these known resistance areas, you get burned a lot. Yeah, that would have been a nice trade. Almost to the measured moves. I guess when I have a measured move and that happens, maybe I need to do it. I'm not sure. I'll practice that on playback during the time off. So measured move of the range is hit, just shy of my bigger one. I mean, it got so close it might as well count as the measured move. So Sometimes it comes up a little shy, but I'd say that's definitely a clear 2 legs up. So unsure from this point what to expect. Where are we on the daily? Still plenty of room on the daily. It's just like a really strange push up in that one single bar. I don't know what happened there, but it's just such a very unexpected move up. It's actually a higher low here. I wasn't even thinking about it, but now after the fact, I mean, it's kind of would be a good trade. Higher low from this. All right, so another new high. Measured move. Now what? What I want to do is specialize in these setups. Straight through the middle Bollinger. Give me a setup over here. Even with resistance, just start taking those. They worked every time. Today. They've all looked pretty bad, but they all worked. So that's what I'll be testing when I'm not trading on the holiday. And hopefully I can see enough of those situations to really either build confidence or build some rules around them. I mean, this one was a little bit strange because it was off an inside bar was the first move up, and also the first move down, all in a single bar. So this one's a little funky. The other ones were pretty straightforward. All right, so measured move perfectly. I'm guessing we're still going up even beyond this. It's just a pretty strong day up. Like, it's pretty clear trend at this point. Perfect touch here, perfect touch here. So that answers my question about why this happened. It was a trend confirmation. But still, wouldn't have been a setup for me. But I hate drawing trends because I just think they give false signals and they cloud your bias. Yeah, like this trend, it's never gone back up here. It always gets stopped at the midline. Yeah. So this trend, potentially the next time it comes down here, might not mean anything anymore, other than you'd expect another new high off of it. But sometimes there's really good short signals when you're in a big, wide trend like this that you won't take because just your bias is too much up. But I'm not surprised to see that when I draw it like that. I just think I'm past the days of those big trend lines, drawing them, because they haven't helped me in the past. They probably hurt me more than help me because I take trades off of them and then they fail where I take them. I'm pretty sure I have to stop soon. My daughter's still sleeping. I think when she wakes up, I have to finish. Just checking in with my wife to see when she's leaving. This is a first entry long, second entry long, potential failure right here, but I'm still just really skeptical of going short in this market. Room and everything. If I went short, I'd probably be out break even +1 right now. So I would have moved it down already. Yeah, so that's a good example of why I wasn't looking for short here. Just, I mean, yeah, if you went for like 3 points like I did over here, you could have got 3 points or 4 points probably. But when you're going for like 6.5 points, it's not really a good trade here. I don't know. I find this to be a difficult day. Yeah. Since I started right around this time, just a lot of chop everywhere, even though it's been going up. It's just, you can get caught on the wrong side real quick and then it goes right in your favor. Yeah. You could be long in a lot of places and still lose. I guess that's the overall thing for me. It's like when the market's generally been a bias, but there's a lot of places where you can go long and lose, and then it goes in that direction. I mean, also for those that are shorts, there's a lot of good opportunities, but you get caught and you're going to get a loss. It seems like to me like this thing's just going to keep grinding up. I mean, we've got all this room. Another 55 points or something. to the obvious next resistance. So it seems like, why wouldn't it just grind up? We'll see. I probably won't be here much longer, so. Yeah, is this looking like another range potentially? Sort of seems like it. Haven't retested this area yet. Out of curiosity, where are we with that trend line? So we're just working towards it again. So it seems like we're just working towards it, and then it'll decide whether it's going to continue up or not. The fact that it's never getting all the way to the top side, it's only getting to the midline. It's not a good indicator for this trend holding up when it gets back over here. But I'm not even sure I'll be here anymore by the time it gets there. Guess I can leave it on for now just to see if I am here, what happens. I really hate drawing these. Yeah, maybe this range won't even be a thing, and it'll come down here. We'll see. All right, so got a touch off of it. hold. All right, this is not a thing. So we'll have another explosive move up like it did over here. Kind of doubt it for some reason. I'm just skeptical of trend lines in general. All right, so got some kind of break here. Take that off. Keep in mind that when you have something like that, a lot of times you'll still get a retest of the high at some point after that. But I would think you'd get like an obvious one leg, 2 legs down, and then back up. And then there's all the people that, you know, when a trend line breaks, you just you trade the breakout, which is what this is. All right, so I'm going to be leaving soon. Tomorrow's a short day, and Wednesday is a short day, or tomorrow, Wednesday, is a short day, and Thursday, which is the 4th of July, is a short day too. So I likely won't be trading tomorrow. Maybe I will, probably not. Thursday, I definitely won't. And Friday, I very likely will not trade. Or maybe I'll just take a look at my phone and see what the price action looks like and decide. We'll see. And so 1-1 this week, 1-0 for today. Small win today. I mean, I had a big loss yesterday. It's a very small win today. My daughter is waking up, so my wife never answered my texts. I'm guessing she's getting ready for work. So I think when my daughter calls me, I have to get out of here. So I'm going to be finishing any minute now. But I moved down a pretty significant sell-off here. You know, got that measured move up. It took a while before it finally got there, but it got there, and then nothing but a sell-off basically ever since. It looked like it wasn't even going to get there at first, and then we had that, I guess somebody found that trend line that they decided to trade it up. What a sell-off for anyone that got short there. Oof. I mean, these candles aren't even pulling back at all. They're just flushing. You just trail stop each one of these things. Let's see what the other charts look like. 5 minute. 15. Daily. Higher low, setting up. So important level here, which is the previous day high. So I was support all over here. You know, once we tested a few times, we stayed over it. Now we're coming back and testing it again. Kind of like a first entry short, potential kind of hidden second entry short. I don't like that. Personally, I would just wall this off for now, see what it looks like, considering it this way. So I guess technically it's a second entry short. I just don't really like it. Again, just becoming more chop again. All right, so the short, very clearly good. Testing yesterday's high. So looking to see if this area holds or not, like it did over here. All right, so far, it's trying to hold. Trying to see if my daughter's calling for me. Sounds like she's just singing. Kind of a higher low here. Just don't really trust this yet for long. I do expect a retest of the high just based on having seen that big trend earlier. You'd expect to, we had a solid break. We have one leg, two little legs down. I mean, there could be another bigger leg down potentially, but I tend to think we're going to go back up and retest the highs. But I wouldn't want to go long yet here, I don't think. Especially if this doesn't hold. Got a new low. There's a first entry. I almost want to see like a trap, like a first entry, second entry short. Traps the shorts and then potentially go long. So maybe if it ticks under and then goes up, maybe I can consider a long. That'd be a trap. Or it's just going to go. So it seems like I have the right idea, but just not seeing an entry I like to support it. Another chop zone. So in general, I feel like I've been kind of right about what the market was overall doing today. I haven't had entries to support my market context understanding. Had the one trade, it was barely good enough. I mean, easily could have messed this up if I got greedy and went for more. Right, so technically, new low, first entry short, second entry short. I'm not looking for shorts, even if it works. I'm not even looking for longs now, where the price is. It's just kind of in this weird in-between spot. I probably got another 5 or 10 minutes left, and then I have to go. So this is like the difference, like going through the midline of the Bollinger and just getting stuck to it versus like when you powerhouse through it and get like one of those setups to go long up there. This is not one of those times. My daughter sounds like she's having a good time. She cracks me up. She's just having a conversation with herself. I actually have to shut this down now. My wife decided that she's not going to get her up after all. So that's going to be it for me today. Very likely won't be here the rest of the week, but if I do decide to trade, I will stream. So it'll just be a last second or last minute decision on each of the days. Definitely not Thursday, but maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. All right. That's it for me. 1-0, can't complain. Wasn't as big of a win as I would have liked. Only about 3 points, but I'll take what I can get. And coming off the loss yesterday, at least gives me a little bit of a better feeling going into these holidays. So, or into this holiday that affects the whole rest of the week. All right. Anyway, I'm out of here. Hope you had a good trading day, and be back sometime soon. Look out for me. Yeah, I'll do what I always do. If I'm going to trade, I'm going to stream. So keep an eye out. All right, I'm out of here.